America at the Columbus Public Library, and welcome to our Voter Education Series, Part 6, Fact Checking. Today we'll be covering what makes a source credible, types of sources, trustworthy popular sources versus untrustworthy sources, fake news, evaluating online information, filter bubbles, fact checkers, how to have discussions with the opposite side, and additional resources. Consider the source. When you encounter any kind of source, consider these 6 points: the author's credentials or authority, the purpose of the source, the intended audience, the quality of the publisher, currency of information, and accuracy and objectivity. Authority. When looking at the author, take these questions into consideration. Is the name of the author, creator on the page? Are his or her credentials listed? For example, occupation, years of experience, position, or education. Is the author qualified to write on the given topic? Why? Is there contact information, such as an email address, somewhere on the page? Is there a link to a home page? If there is a link to a home page, is it for an individual or for an organization? If the author is with an organization, does it appear to support or sponsor the page? What does the domain name, URL, reveal about the source of the information, if anything? If the owner is not identified, what can you tell about the origin of the site from the address? Purpose. Knowing the motive behind the page's creation can help you judge its content. Who is the intended audience? Is it a scholarly audience or experts? General public or novices? If not stated, what do you think is the purpose of the site? Is the purpose to inform or teach, explain or enlighten, persuade or sell a product? Publication. Where was it published? Was it published in a scholarly publication, such as an academic journal? Who was the publisher? Was it a university press? Was it formally peer-reviewed? Was it self-published? Were there outside editors or reviewers? What does the medium tell you about the intended audience? Was it published online or in print? Is it a blog post, a YouTube video, a TV episode, an article from a print magazine? Does the publication have a particular editorial position? Is it generally thought to be a conservative or progressive outlet? Is the publication sponsored by any other companies or organizations? Do the sponsors have particular biases? Were there any apparent barriers to publication? Currency. If timeliness of the information is important, is it kept up to date? Is there an indication of when the site was last updated? Accuracy and objectivity. Are the sources for factual information clearly listed so that the information can be verified? Is it clear who has the ultimate responsibility for the accuracy of the content of the material? Can you verify any of the information in independent sources or from your own knowledge? Has the information been reviewed? Is the information free of grammatical, spelling, and typographical errors? Is the information covered fact, opinion, or propaganda? Is the author's point of view objective and impartial? Is the language free of emotion-rousing words and bias? Is the author affiliated with an organization? Does the author's affiliation with an institution or organization appear to bias the information? Does the content of the page have the official approval of the institution, organization, or company? Types of sources. Primary source, the raw, unanalyzed material of scholarship. Examples include novels, diaries, correspondence, posters, data, interviews, government documents, cartoons, films, maps, and manuscripts. Secondary source, an analysis or commentary on a primary source. Peer review, a system of intellectual quality control, in which articles and books are evaluated anonymously by other experts, the author's peers, before being accepted for publication. Articles and books that are peer-reviewed are considered the most authoritative scholarly publications, but not all scholarly publishers use anonymous peer review. Some have an editor or a team of editors to assess the validity and originality of an article or a book. A scholarly source is a published source that cites its sources in notes and bibliographies, is written by a scholar or researcher in that field, is written in the technical language of the discipline. It's aimed at a readership familiar with the terms and concepts of the field, and it may be published by a scholarly or professional association. For example, a university press like Harvard University Press, or by a non-university press that specializes in academic books, and it's usually peer-reviewed. A trustworthy popular source is a published source that usually doesn't cite sources formally but may mention them in passing, is written by an expert in the field or a well-informed journalist or freelance writer. It's written in non-technical language. It's aimed at a general audience of educated, interested readers. Although not peer-reviewed, it adheres to standards of accuracy, journalistic ethics, and a clearly stated editorial policy. It's published by a commercial or non-profit publisher. Examples include The Atlantic, The New Yorker, The New York Times, and The Economist. A dubious popular source is a published source that doesn't mention sources except the names of people being quoted, isn't assigned to a writer based on special knowledge, is written in non-technical language, is written to entertain a general audience or to increase readership, may not adhere to standards of accuracy or journalistic ethics, and is published by a commercial enterprise. Examples include the National Enquirer or People magazine. Fake news. What is fake news? Fake news is a type of hoax or deliberate spread of misinformation in social media or traditional news media with the intent to mislead in order to gain financially or politically. Fake news websites deliberately publish hoaxes, propaganda, and disinformation, using social media to drive web traffic and amplify their effect. Fake news takes all forms: print, online, podcasts, YouTube videos, radio shows, images. Any format that can convey information can convey disinformation. Fake news is not news that you disagree with. It's distortion of facts, not opinions. Here's a chart of the top 5 fake election stories that are circulating on Facebook today. As you can see, each of these stories has thousands of viewers, highlighting the problem of fake news and how misinformation spreads so quickly. Here are some quick tips on how to spot fake news. All caps are obviously photoshopped pictures. A glut of pop-ups and banner ads. That's a good sign the story is pure clickbait. Check the domain. Fake sites often add .co to trusted brands to steal their luster. If you land on an unknown site, check its about page. Then Google it with the word fake and see what comes up. If a story offers links, follow them. No links, quotes, or references? Another telltale sign that it's fake news. Verify an unlikely story by finding a reputable outlet reporting the same thing. Check the date. Social media often resurrects outdated stories. Read past headlines. Often they bear no resemblance to what lies beneath. Photos may be misidentified and dated. Use a reverse image search engine like TinyEye to see where an image really comes from. If the story makes you angry, it's probably designed that way. If you're not sure it's true, don't share it. Evaluating online information. Does the website have an About Us section? Does it disclose a source of funding? Knowing this information enables you to judge the website's purpose and viewpoint. Is information cited so that you can track down the source and verify it? What evidence is used to prove the author's point? Is the evidence reliable, and is it used logically? Evaluating online information. Consider the domain. Government or military. Government or military websites end in .gov or .mil, and in general are reliable sources on the web. However, beware of political sites used to sway public opinion. University. University websites end in .edu and are usually reliable. Use these sites with caution, checking for credibility and authority. Company website. Company websites generally end in .com. These sites are great for information about a particular company. However, be aware that company websites are used to promote, so be sure the information is non-biased. Special interests. While many professional organizations end in .org, there also are many .orgs that are biased and promote a specific agenda. Beware of websites that contain the suffix "lo" or that end in .com, .co. These often present false information for satirical or other purposes. Websites that urge you to dox an individual or organization. Websites that have amateurish design in all caps and try to play on your emotions. Those are often signs that information is not trustworthy and that you should research it further via other sources. Memes making the rounds on Facebook or other social media sites. Try Googling the topic of a meme or other doubtful story. If it is a legitimate news story, you'll probably find it covered by an established source, like a major newspaper or TV news channel. Clickbait. Sensationalist headlines and odd photos whose purpose is not to publish legitimate news, but to increase traffic at a website. These types of web pages may be legitimate, but they should not be mistaken for impartial news sources. Opinion pieces or editorials. These may be written by journalists or experts, but they should be clearly marked as opinion pieces and not mistaken for an impartial news report. Parody or satire sites, including The Onion and The New Yorker's Borowitz Report. Their purpose is to entertain and perhaps to persuade, but they should not be mistaken for news sources. Native advertising or sponsored content. Their purpose is to sell, not to inform. Press releases. Public relation pieces from a company or organization. They often are marked for immediate release. Publications by advocacy organizations or think tanks. Organizations such as the Sierra Club, MoveOn.org, the National Rifle Association can produce useful materials, but they should be understood to represent a particular point of view. It would be wise to seek other viewpoints for a more balanced understanding of the issues. Filter bubbles. What is a filter bubble? A filter bubble refers to a phenomenon that occurs with many of the websites that we use. Algorithms, or mathematical equations, use our search history and personal information to tailor results to us. So the exact same search, using the same search words, can return different results for different individuals. This is called personalization. Google uses your previous queries and refines its search results according to which links you clicked in that previous search. So if you click on celebrity news from the Daily Mail rather than Netflix after searching for the names of film stars, links to the Daily Mail may feature more prominently in the results of future searches you perform. So, are filter bubbles actually bad or good? You could say they're both. So here are the pros of filter bubbles. Personalized results provided by websites and search engines can give us results that we want faster. Websites that we commonly go to are easier to find as they appear higher up in search lists. Location detection is helpful when you simply want a restaurant that is close by. Our login information can be saved so we don't have to keep retyping it. if we are on a private computer, for example. The cons of filter bubbles. If our search results are skewed and we are unaware of it, then our ability to access, evaluate, and use information is affected. We can't make informed decisions if we can't view all sides of an argument. A democratic society could be at risk if personalized content limits the diversity of media content people are exposed to. Some people might argue that the effects that Eli Pariser calls the filter bubble are overblown. Pariser's argument is based on anecdotal evidence and algorithms, how they work, rather than scientific evidence about how personalization on the web affects how we think. Yet there is empirical evidence showing that the effects of personalization on our search results are very real and significant. While more research is needed in this area, anytime results are personalized to fit our clicking history, there is the chance that some other information will not reach us. There is another reason to be wary of search results and question their objectivity. Google's PageRank, which refers to the system for ranking or ordering search results, is based not on the quality of information, but rather on the website's popularity. That is, on how many other websites link to that particular website, and how high those websites are ranked. Conclusion. So while we cannot conclusively say if filter bubbles are hindering people's access to certain types of information, it's important to be aware of this phenomenon and consider its implications whenever you use Google to research. Fact checkers. Fact-checking is the process of checking that all the facts in a piece of writing, a news article, a speech, etc., are correct. Here are some popular fact checkers that you can use during the election process to verify any information that you come across. PolitiFact, the Pulitzer Prize-winning site run by editors and reporters from the Tampa Bay Times newspaper. It's a fact-checking website that rates the accuracy of claims by elected officials and others who speak up in American politics. FactCheck.org. FactCheck.org is a project of the Annenberg Public Policy Center of the University of Pennsylvania, a nonpartisan, nonprofit consumer advocate for voters that aims to reduce the level of deception and confusion in U.S. politics. They monitor the factual accuracy of what is said by major U.S. political players in the form of TV ads, debates, speeches, interviews, and news releases. FactCheck.org. The site provides resources designed to help viewers recognize flaws in arguments in general and political ads in particular. OpenSecrets.org. Nonpartisan, independent, and nonprofit, the Center of Responsive Politics is the nation's premier research group tracking money in U.S. politics and its effects on elections and public policy. Snopes, an internet reference source for urban legends, folklore, myths, rumors, and misinformation. Duke Reporters Lab Fact-Checking includes a database of global fact-checking sites, which can be viewed as a map or as a list. Also includes how they identify fact-checkers. International Fact-Checking Network, Fact-Checkers Code of Principles. The International Fact-Checking Network is a forum for fact-checkers worldwide hosted by the Poynter Institute for Media Studies. How can we bridge the gap between left and right to have wiser, more connected political conversation? Journalist Gretchen Carlson and op-ed columnist David Brooks share insights on the tensions at the heart of American politics today and where we can find common ground. Conservatives and liberals both believe that they alone are motivated by love while their opponents are motivated by hate. How can we solve problems with so much polarization? In this talk, social scientist Arthur Brooks shares ideas for what we can each do as individuals to break the gridlock. Learn to have discussions with the opposite side. Psychologist Jonathan Haidt studies the 5 moral values that form the basis of our political choices, whether we're left, right, or center. In this eye-opening talk, he pinpoints the moral values that liberals and conservatives tend to honor most. Rob Willer studies the forces that unite and divide us. As a social psychologist, he researches how moral values, typically a source of division, can also be used to bring people together. Willer shares compelling insights on how we might bridge the ideological divide and offers some intuitive advice on ways to be more persuasive when talking politics. Bibliography. Here are all the references to the information on the slides that we previously went over in this presentation. Here are some additional resources for evaluating information, including all sides' media bias ratings and an article on how to burst your filter bubble. Here are some more additional resources, including how to become data literate. This will help you in evaluating statistical information that you find online or in print sources.